So the Pelicans won the lottery last night with the new draft odds. They are going to get Zion Williamson, we assume. And now I'm really confused on what this does for the NBA moving forward. Just take the Pelicans for example, right? They were projected to get nowhere close to the first pick, and they technically tanked, even if they didn't really want to because of all the AD controversy and them having to sit him. So I think what it shows is that the lottery is now really random, and it's tough to have an opinion on something that could just end up 9 million different ways, but I'm going to attempt to do it. And I'm just going to go down the picks and look at each team's situation after this lottery. So the Grizzlies ended up with number 2, and I think what we learned from them is you can actually be a respectable team all the way to the end of the season, which I think they were trying to do when they traded Marc Gasol for Valanciunas, who's a win right now type of player, and you can still be rewarded in the draft. Now, even then, Conley and Valanciunas didn't play the last, 7 games. Apparently, they both had ankle injuries. But it's a big difference from, let's say, the New York Knicks. They went into this season wanting to have the worst record in the league. I mean, Mario Hezonja and Emmanuel Mudiay played 2/3 of the season or something like that. And I think the message that this sends to teams is, yeah, you can tank, but if you have nothing but young players and unproven guys and dudes who their first team gave up on, and you just want to be bad and you hope that you can get the star player that way, that might not be the best move, because we're not sure if that really leads to development. If anything, that just puts bad habits, and it teaches guys how to lose before it teaches them to win. And the reward for this may not even be the first pick in the draft anymore. And now we move on to the Lakers. I think we learned something pretty interesting with them getting the 4th pick. As long as you're in the lottery now, your entire franchise can be surprised like hell. Because, I mean, where were they supposed to end up? Around number 11 or 12, and they've got the 4th pick in the draft now, and who knows what that pick will end up being. I'll certainly make videos for them and a bunch of teams here. But I think what this shows is, as long as you're not at the absolute bottom of the lottery, you're effectively just in the same position as anybody else is, which further cements you don't have to bottom out anymore. The Cavaliers, to be nice, they wanted to be kind of respectable this year, and then Kevin Love got hurt, and then that was out of the question. So this is similar to the Knicks to me. The difference is the Cavs have Sexton, a young player that they can view as the future of the franchise. Now, they didn't have that many chances to surround him with win-now players, and you don't want to go too far with that, because you still want the career trajectories to line up, but maybe getting a few more veterans to help out your young guy will be the better option moving forward, rather than just more young players. If we move on to the Phoenix Suns, I think what we learned with their draft placement is that you can no longer rely on the draft to reward incompetence, because they've been one of the worst run franchises for the last few years. Now, that doesn't mean it can't still happen. The Suns could have ended up with the number 1 pick, and they could have got Zion, and all of this could have been flipped basically overnight. But the point is, you just can't hope that the lottery is going to bail you out of all your struggles anymore. Which means you have to be just a lot better at the other things. So, I mean, where do they end up with the 6th or 7th pick or something? I should know, since I'm putting all of these in order based on picks. But they have to nail whatever pick they have now. They should have nailed the Josh Jackson and the Dragan Bender picks, and they didn't. So you just have to be a better front office, and that's a challenge for a team like Phoenix. I think what we learned from the Bulls is they may have had the right idea with trading for Otto Porter, because if they were just trying to be as bad as possible and they didn't want to win an extra game or 2 this season, they would not have made the move for Porter. They could have ended up in this position anyway, and then they would have lost out on a pretty decent small forward. But now they've got Porter for a few years, and yeah, you can argue that the guy's overpaid or whatever, but he already showed pretty good signs with the Bulls in his short time there. So maybe when the trade deadline rolls around and there's another decent player available, perhaps we'll see more bad teams get aggressive in these type of things than we have in the past. And then we get to this Trae Young and Luka thing, which, by the way, this is going to greatly contradict the thing that I'm going to say when I'm done with this. So it's safe to say the lottery is more random now. So maybe you look at a potential pick that you're trading away or a pick that you're going to be trading for, and you could say, well, this pick could end up being a lot better than we think it could be. It could end up being a lot worse than we think it'll be. And I think it's just going to be a case-by-case basis of the things that you're trading around the pick. So maybe Atlanta just liked Trae Young that much. But, if they knew where these picks would end up, maybe then they wouldn't have done the trade in the first place. I don't know. And now my brain is so confused that I don't even know if this is a contradiction anymore. But, like a team like the Pistons, I know they really wanted to make the playoffs, but a lot of times teams just kind of fall into the postseason. Maybe a team that's hovering around the 8th seed will choose to lose to get into the lottery because maybe their pick will get a massive jump. I think the thing to take away from all this is that it's a lot more random, and maybe that's what the NBA really wanted. In a way, it gets rid of tanking. In another way, it probably doesn't at all. It's going to be more of an event moving forward now, and I don't know, it's going to be something.